Okay, this is the video for Wednesday, May 6th. However, today's video is basically going to be going over Monday's problems. Two main issues occurred Monday. One, just overall not plugging in and doing the math correctly to find the Y number. That's typically the error, but several people I saw just didn't plot points correctly. Remember, the ordered pair 5, 4 means you go 5 in the X direction. Okay, 5, 4 means go 5 in the X direction, 4 in the Y direction, and make a point. Okay, several people just didn't plot points correctly. They put a dot at 5 and they put a dot at 4. The ordered pair 5, 4 means 5 in the X direction, 4 in the Y direction, and where they intersect is where you put the point. -1, 3 would be left 1, -1 on X, +3 for Y would be right there. Okay, so plotting points was the main issue for some people. Okay, number one was a nice easy one. Whatever X is, you square it, and that's what Y is. So when I put a 0 in, all I do is I take 0 and I square it, and I get 0. 0, 0 is the origin right there. Now I'm going to plug in 1. All I do is take 1 and I square it. That's the only thing the function says to do, is take the X and square it. 1 squared is 1. So 1 in the X direction, 1 in the Y direction is right there. Okay, that's the ordered pair 1, 1. I'm going to plug in a 2. Put a 2 there, and all it says is square it and get 4. So the ordered pair is 2, 4. Okay, a T-chart is the same as an ordered pair. So 2, 4 is right there. Okay. So what we have here is the graph is coming down like this, curving. Okay, plugging in 3 will be off the chart, so I'm going to plug in -1. -1 squared. Make sure that if you're using a calculator, you are squaring a -1. Some calculators do not do that correctly. They ignore the negative sign and just square the 1 and then switch it. We want to actually take -1 times -1, which is +1. Okay, that could be an error if you're using a calculator. Make sure you're taking -1 times -1. And then when I plot that point, -1 for X, +1 for Y is right there. I'm going to go ahead and plug in -2, even though you should already know what to do. -2 squared is +4. Okay, so when X is -2, Y is +4. And there is our V-shape or U-shape parabola. Okay. Oops. If you draw the line thick enough, it'll go through them. Okay. So that's the answer number 1. Okay. Number 2, I'm going to go ahead and try to fit this one in. I'm going to start with X equals 0. I just have a little more math to do. If I put a 0 there and square it, I get 0. If I put a 0 there, -8 times 0 is 0 plus 14. 0 plus 0 plus 14 is 14, and it's off the chart. 0 +14 is way up here somewhere. Okay, plug in 1. 1 squared is 1. 1 times -8 is -8. That's the kind of errors I was seeing. And then the constant is +14. There is no X on this, so you don't multiply it. And now add all those together, and that should equal +7. +7. Okay, so 1 for X goes with 7 for Y. 1 for X goes with 7 for Y, which is off the chart also, but we're getting closer. Okay, the graph is coming down. We need to try 2. 2 squared is 4. 2 times -8 is -16. And then the constant is +14. Remember, do not multiply that by 2 because there is no X on it. And then when I add all that together, you should get 18 minus 16 is 2. When X is 2, y is 2. That is the ordered pair 2, 2. Goes right there. X is 2, y is 2 is that ordered pair. Some of you are putting dots in both of those spots there. Okay, the ordered pair 2, 2 is a single ordered pair right there. Plug in a 3. Put a 3 there, you get 9, 3 squared. Plug a 3 in for x, multiply, get negative 24. And then the constant is plus 14. When you add those together, you get negative 1. 9 and 14 is 23. Negative 24 is negative 1. So 3 goes with negative 1. When x is 3, y is negative 1, is that ordered pair right there. X is 3, y is negative 1, is that ordered pair. So we have the graph coming down. It's not bottoming out yet, so we got to plug in 4. Keep plugging in until it changes directions and has that V or U shape to it, like number 1 did. Okay, so I'm going to plug in 4. 4 squared is 16. 4 times negative 8 is negative 32. And then the constant in this problem is plus 14. When I add those two together, I get 30, and negative 32 is negative 2. So the ordered pair 4 for x, negative 2 for y is right there. So what we have here is it's coming down, it's starting to curve, it's starting to change directions, but we need to make sure by plugging in 5. 5 squared is 25. 5 times negative 8 is negative 40. Plus 14. 25 and 14 is 39. And negative 40 is negative 1. Now, I was talking with someone yesterday, and they said, well, you can't have the same answer twice. In a parabola, in an x squared equation, you will have the same y number more than once, and that actually means that's when you're done. 5 goes with negative 1. X is 5, y is negative 1 goes right there, and sure enough, we are changing directions. Okay? So now we can talk about the line of symmetry. This point matches up with this point, so this point's going to match up with this. If you plugged in 6, you would get positive 2. If you plugged in 6, you would get positive 2. And just want you to bring that on up, and it goes on forever in both directions like that. Okay, that's the answer to number 2. Okay. In this case, it took me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points until I could see where it was changing directions. Okay, so 2 places to make errors. The math, you don't square it right maybe, or you're not multiplying by negative 8 correctly, or you're not adding these up correctly. That's one error. And the second error that I saw a lot of is make sure you remember how to do an ordered pair from elementary school. X is 4, y is negative 2. X is 4, y is negative 2. X is 2, y is 2. 2, 2. Okay? I'll do a separate video for numbers 3 and 4 since we're already at 8.5 minutes.